Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be the video that I spoke about during the walk around for the brake upgrade and the wheels. It's something I did pre-record. I did put on the same t-shirt to help with continuity, but I was waiting on a whole bunch of parts and I wanted to put it all out as one. So this will be some parts you have already seen. I also was waiting on wheel studs and end links for the rear sway bar. They're old brittle plastic and they broke when I was taking off the suspension in the back when I was installing it. Now some of the parts I was waiting for were studs and end links for the suspension that broke when I was taking it all apart. So this is actually a stud kit I found on FCP Euro, and as expected there's nothing for the 190E chassis aftermarket wise for stud upgrade. So I measured the stuck lug nuts on the car and the thread pitch, and I found that these E36 kits actually are the same exact lug pattern, thread pattern, and they work perfectly. So I'm going to be installing these as well. I think you torque them to something like 85 foot-pounds. I'll have to look that up. And then the kit even comes with Loctite, blue Loctite to put on them so they don't come off. These are the end links I was waiting on for the rear sway bar. I got them from FCP Euro as well. Now, to give you more insight on the brakes themselves and what you need to do to fit them to a 190E, this is pretty common. You can find other info online. I'm not by any means any originator of it, but you just buy OEM brakes for a 300E or a 400E, and they're 4-piston front and 2-piston rear. And I bought Rotors off of buybrakes.com. They had a good deal on them. But all in all, instead of spending a couple $1,000s on a big brake kit upgrade, especially on a pretty light car, this all in all, I think with paint cost me around $800 to have good performing brakes that hopefully won't fade on the track. The one thing I had to do that I didn't see anybody in the things I looked up online when I was getting ready to do this, for mounting the front calipers, they actually, if you mount them without any washers or anything, the caliper itself will rub against the rotor. So I had to make spacers, and I just made them out of sheet metal, very thin sheet metal. Made spacers that go between the hub itself and the caliper, and then that resolved my issue of the caliper itself touching the rotor. I'm not sure why nobody mentioned that in any of those posts, but it's good info to know if you're going to do these brakes, to keep that in mind, that you'll have to put a small spacer or washer or something along those lines to get them to sit clean and even and not rub against the rotor. Another thing I did with the brakes that most people don't do is I wanted them to look a little bit better. It's all for aesthetics, essentially, has no purpose for performance, but I kind of wanted the car to look the part and kind of make the bigger brakes pop. So I did paint them red with red caliper paint, and then I painted the centers black with high heat paint as well. And then I made these plates out of pieces of sheet metal and put a AMG sticker on it, just to kind of make them pop a little bit more and look more like a race car versus a stock brake upgrade. The paint I used, I've actually got off of Amazon. It's just Pour 15 caliper paint, and it works really well. I like Pour 15. I painted the engine block on my VR6 there when I had it out with Port 15, and that was in 2013, I think I did that. And to this day, the engine block is still, black and clean looking, and that's probably what I'll do with the LS swap as well, just to make it look better. Port 15 works really well, and it's a very thick paint that you just apply with a brush. Another thing I wanted to add, I now have a new GoPro thanks to my awesome girlfriend. She decided to surprise me and give me the newest GoPro since mine was very old and outdated. I had a Hero 2 that I was using, and you probably noticed in onboard videos from the C63 drift video, it was a little buzzy and vibrating. So with this clip, you probably could see there's a huge quality of video improvement. And every day I'm striving to try to make better and clearer content, and she decided to surprise me and give me the newest GoPro. But some of the clips I did take previously are going to be with the old one, so the quality will go back and forth a little bit. But hopefully this will make the videos better for you guys and make it easier for me to work with the equipment that I have. So once again, thanks to her. She has been a great support with all this and spending her hard-earned money just to help make something happen out of this and bring you guys the best content that I can. As for the wheels that I got for the car, now obviously I'm gonna have to have multiple sets for drifting, but these will kind of be the wheels the car rolls in on. I'll probably burn through these tires eventually as well, but they are from a CL55 AMG, I believe, from like 2002. And they're 17 by 8.5 in the rear, and I think 17 by 7.5 up front. I mentioned in the other video that I have to get tires for the front. They are too tall for the car, but for now it will do till I get new tires. But they were originally silver and they were in poor condition. I found them on Craigslist for I think 350 bucks from a guy. So I wanted to clean them up, and I figure I'll go with the white and black type of scheme, and I did some detail work to make them look a little bit better. It is a rattle can job, but I think they turned out pretty well considering. There was one wheel that completely gave me a headache. For some reason, every time I would put primer on, it would be fine, and as soon as I put paint on it, it would for some reason not take and would flake off. And none of the other wheels did, and I prepped them all the same way. I'm not sure what the problem was with this one wheel, and I think I sanded it and repainted it at least 3 or 4 times, and it was a real test of patience. I don't know why the one wheel did that. I'm not sure if it was maybe bad primer that I had. I ended up at the very end going out and buying a fresh can of primer, but for a rattle can job, I think these wheels turned out pretty great considering. Like I said, I still want the car to look somewhat nice. I'm not a big fan of the drift cars that look like somebody just pulled them out of a junkyard. I want it to be a functional race car, but I also want to be able to take it to like a Cars and Coffee or something, or take it for a drive with the lady and actually enjoy the car, because that's one of my favorite things about cars, is actually just driving them. Guys, so the wheels and tires are on, so are the studs, the brakes, and everything. This is the first time the car has sat on the ground in months, and overall I'm happy with how it looks. Obviously, as I mentioned beforehand about the wheel gap here and overall tire height, you could barely fit your finger inside of there. Now, could cut and roll fenders and whatnot, but overall these are really tall sidewall tires, so that will help me with clearance here. I would like not to change the ride height too much, and then it will help me with clearances in front and back, because right now when I go full lock it does touch the bumper and this trim piece in the back here. But overall it does have that bulldog stance, and you can see the poke here. Alright guys, and that will do it for today's episode. I am very happy with the way the car is starting to look. As I said, it's no longer looking like a grandpa's car. It's starting to look a little bit more race car-ish. I'm happy with the white wheels. I think it looks good on it. Although I might go for a color change in the future when I do the white body, I might just stick with white wheels, we'll see. But overall, I'm happy with it. Like I said, once the brakes are bled and I have the hydro in there, we'll be able to take it for a spin and see how the brakes do and how much better they are than stock. But other than that, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Sorry I'm sweaty, but it is the summer in the south. And until next time, thank you again.